What up, though? What up, though? Thank y'all for showing up. With that being said, this might be a short but sweet stream. Um, Very educational, of course. The Modal window, CTS, CST. I'm sorry, I said CTS. That's my dyslexia kicking in, y'all. But CST, we talking about plasticity. I know y'all are scared of real application, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. This is real sacred geometry. This is the Ogdog and the Ennead. And with that being said, we fit to get off into um, some sacred geometry in terms of what you think is happening in terms of what you think plasticity is, right? Also, we're gonna get off into osteo. Uh, these words are Greek and Latin, and they purposely spoken in the medical field, so they'll talk over your head. But we're gonna do our best to keep you informed in terms of tangible application. Excuse me. None of that dumb shit that takes place in terms of what you think you overhearing. Because I got some shit for you. And for those who showed up, for those who are going to show up, and with that being said, uh, I'm going to only play this once. If you was not here in the beginning to hear it, then you missed it. And with that being said, let me share my screen because this is going to be really, really, really fast, ladies and gentlemen, on this end. But once we start getting off into the CTS and the plasticity, that's going to be a little detail. Okay, which one I'm looking at? All right. I want y'all to pay attention to this. Let me get rid of my face. Let me get rid of my avatar and put this up. I want y'all to pay attention to that. What kind of hat does Sanchez is got on? That looks like a Las Vegas Raider hat. Today they're known as the Las Vegas Raiders. Yesteryear it was Oakland, and the year before that it was Los Angeles, but it always kept it in the West Coast. But if you look at that hat, if you pay attention to that hat, Oakland Raiders, the Raiders are worse than the Buccaneers in terms of what they call privateers or pirates. He had an illustration yesterday talking about pirates and some shit like that, or the day before that. Today, he doubled down on it, and I'm going to show you where your teacher, I'm going to stop saying your teacher. I'm going to say Sanchez is a fucking devil. He's a devil. Watch. I'm showing you that because this is the same stream. I'm just showing you what he had on earlier in the stream. Now I'm for to play. I'm for to come out. The hell? That's crazy. Hold on, let me come back up. All right. I'm going to show you where he said that this is Satan worshiping. And since this is Satan worshiping, what the fuck you doing got it on and preaching the way you preaching? Is my screen sharing? Yes. So I'm going to mute up and I'm going to play it to this point where I got it saved at. Not out of context. I'm letting you know this is not out of context. But this is the person you following. He's a devil. And he's teaching you demonology and telling you that he ain't about that life, which he is.
Dream state like Freddy Krueger. And this is going to make sense too. This explains why the pirate had a patch on his eye and why they all cover one eye for the Illuminati Luciferian shit. Because think about like the TV station, the one eye open, CBS, I think about that means you got one eye open in this world and one eye closed in the other world. This gonna make sense too. This explains why the pirate had a patch on his eye and why they all cover one eye for the Illuminati Luciferian.
But you got on a motherfucking Las Vegas Raiders helmet. Let's do this. We gonna do one. We gonna do one better. We finna look at a Raiders logo. Which window do I want to come out of? You know what? Since I'm sharing that, let's look at a Raiders logo. We gonna put it right here. We're gonna say Las Vegas Raiders. Look. Oh, excuse me. Now let's look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We should look at Tampa Bay Buccaneers and tell me which one. I'm gonna pause it. Look at the double dance. Look at the double dance. We're gonna go Buck. There you go. Now, which one got the one eye patch? And when you go to the old Buccaneers, we're going to go to the old logo. We're going to go old logo. That's the Tampa Bay's original Buccaneers logo. Let's blow that image up. Am I sharing? I'm pretty sure I am. All those goddamn Buccaneer logos. Right? Let's come back. Let's go back. Buccaneer logo. And this nigga with a Raiders hat on. And this is what he had to say about the pirate. This is what he had to say about the pirate. Excuse me as I share my screen. Let's share. Let me mute up and let's hear him talk.
Shit, but this gonna make sense too. This we saying these people not only were pirates at sea and at land, but in the dream state like Freddy Krueger. And this gonna make sense too. This explains why the pirate had a patch on his eye and why they all cover one eye for the Illuminati Luciferian shit. Because
Luciferian shit. They cover up their eye for Illuminati and Luciferian shit. Let's go back. Why did your guy wear his hat? Tell me why the fuck he wear his hat. And then y'all got a nerve to talk about other people and the shit that they display in terms of what they displaying. Why in the fuck he got on this hat? Let me see if I can get the image a little bit bigger. Boom. Why is your teacher, I'm sorry, I said I wasn't going to say your teacher, but why is this nigga wearing a fucking Los Angeles Raiders hat? I mean a Las Vegas Raiders hat. With the shield of protection. That means that he is a guardian at the door. That's what that shield is for. That is a Rothschild shield. That is a shield for those Jews, those particular Jews. That shield that he has on his hat means that he's a protector of what, Sanchez? What you protecting? Sanchez, why would you tell everybody that a pirate? Let's listen to that again, not in my voice, in his voice. So let me pull out of this share and go back to what this is all the same string. So we're gonna go back to what he had to say about his hat that he's wearing. He's not saying nothing about his hat. He's fooling the people. This is the devil's the biggest trick that the devil ever pulled. The biggest trick that the devil ever pulled is convince you that he don't exist. And he's showing you that he don't exist. He's not the devil. He's not the devil, even though that nigga got on the devil hat. He's not the devil, even though he explaining everything in his hat. Got everything to do with Illuminati, Luciferian, and devil shit. Let me shut the fuck up and let him speak.
Because think about it. So guess what we saying? We saying these
pirates. They're traveling through the oceans on ships, which is like Merkaba. When you astral travel, you gotta have your solar ship, and they're traveling to these other realms, taking shit from these realms, taking over, colonizing the realm. Bro, this shit deep as fuck.
Exactly. That's why the pirates. That's why they had the Macabre or the Star of David. They flew that on their flags while they were sailing on those ships.
And so guess what we saying? We saying these people not only were pirates at sea and at land, but in the dream.
He said, "Is what we saying." Who is we? His minions, his fucking minions. Let's move forward.
State like Freddy Krueger. And this gonna make sense too. This explains why the pirate had a patch on his eye and why they all cover one eye for the Illuminati, Luciferian shit. Because think about like the TV station, the one eye open, why the pirate had a patch on his eye and why they all cover one eye for the Illuminati, Luciferian shit. Because think about like the TV station. This explains why the pirate had a patch on his eye and why they all cover one eye for the Illuminati, Luciferian shit. Because think about like the TV station, the one eye open, CBS, I think about it. That means you got one eye open in this world and one eye closed in the other world.
Oh, fuck. Thank you very much, TC. I had my cell phone mute all that goddamn time. Shit. I'm fucking up big time. God damn it. I was explaining plasticity, man. What the fuck? I gotta go back, man, and go and explain this shit again. This is crazy. All right. Dude, I'm telling you something. This is meant to happen like this. This is meant to happen like this. This is crazy. But let's go back to it again. All right. Plasticity. Damn, dog, I sat there and explained that shit. Plasticity is the quality of being easily shaped or molded. Plastic got its name after plasticity. Plasticity takes place in human biology all the fucking time. And not only in alchemy when we bending metals, when we bending air, when we bending water. Or what I mean by bending, I mean that we are in total control of it. Now, when I go to this plasticity in Wikipedia, as y'all can see, plasticity in physics is engineering. In physics is the propensity of solid material to undergo permanent deformation under load. This is the major plasticity that we're going to be looking into is neural plasticity, also known as neural plasticity or brain plasticity. Is the ability of neural networks in the brain to change through growth and recognition and reorganization. I'm going to read that again. Neural plasticity, also known as neural plasticity or brain plasticity, is the ability of neural networks in the brain to change through growth and reorganization. With that, we're going to be digging off into that in terms of what plasticity is, but I'm going to show you the action of plasticity. Now, I'm almost caught up. What we fit to look at, thank you very much, Sister Amma, for showing up. What we fit to look at is the beginning of the Matrix, the movie Matrix, the first one, where Neo, his awakening is plasticity. He was not awakened when he met Morpheus over the computer. He was not awakened or aware when they took that bug out of his stomach. Even when he took the pill, he was not awake. He started awakening once he was in a moment of plasticity. And I'm going to show you where his moment of plasticity is. Since we know what the definition of plasticity is the ability to change things. And this is what happened. Let me share my screen. This is what happened in a moment where Neo was in a moment of neuroplasticity. This is at the moment when he was in neuroplasticity. Let me say the definition again. Neuroplasticity is the ability of neural networks in the brain to change through growth and reorganization. And at this particular moment, everything was reorganized, and nobody is telling you like this. This is applicable. This is applicable information. This ain't no wild out, I'm reaching shit. You know how they be saying, man, I'm finna reach. No, you don't have to reach with this information. This information is right at your hands. And with that being said, are we sharing? Yes, I am sharing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to mute up and let's watch this scene. We all seen it before. It's only 1 minute and 28 seconds, but this is the moment of neuroplasticity. Now, everybody want to talk about Neuralink. Them are buzzwords. If I ask the nigga, how do Neuralink work? What are the processes of it? What are the nine elements in terms of when it start connecting. And I guarantee you he can't tell you what the fuck it is, but he'll tell you in a minute. They being spaghettified. But anyway, let us move. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna mute my voice, and we're gonna watch this minute and 28 second clip, and then we're gonna break down what the plasticity is taking place.
Have you ever had a dream, Neo?
Let me say the definition again so y'all will know. Let me pull back. This is the roundabout definition is the quality of being easily shaped or molded. Let's say that again. The quality of being easily shaped or molded. That's what plasticity is. Neuroplasticity, which is easily being molded, but taking place in the goddamn brain, right? Hold on. I'm in physics. Let me pull out. Let me pull out of the physics and go to neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the ability of neural networks in the brain to change through growth and reorganization. Now, watch what takes place. Now, everything is dealing with the brain right now. Everything is dealing with the brain. So let us continue. And I'm going to mute up.
Have you ever had a dream, Neo, that you were so sure was real? What if you were unable to wake from that dream? How would you know the difference between the dream world and the real world? This can't be what? Be real?
It's going into replication.
Hey, Boss, still nothing. Let's go. Let's go. Tank, we're going to need a signal soon.
Got a fibrillation.
APOC, location. Targeting almost there.
It's going into arrest.
Lock, I got him. Now, Tank, now.
What took place was neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity, let me go ahead and share this again. Because what we fit to dig into is what they call CST, which is craniosacral therapy. Remember, I talked about that from before and how this is a cosmic healing process. I mean, you can use it, but it's definitely a cosmic healing process. And you usually follow your astronomic pattern or your astronomic zodiac. That's what you usually follow. So I'm not a person who's a practitioner of that. I know a few people who are, but considering what craniosacral therapy is, when people talk about chakras and all that shit, they don't know what they're talking about because they can't apply what they're talking about. The only thing they can tell you is 7 heavens. It's 7 heavens for the apply it. Sanchez, can you apply it? Can you relieve me of a stress by applying the 7 chakras, or what we know as craniosacral fucking therapy? Do you know how to apply that? So I'm just telling y'all how y'all can do this. This is tangible shit that y'all can go look up. What I was about to share. Yeah, that's what I was about to share. Neuroplasticity. This is important because we finna go off into plexus. We finna go off into a lot of shit, y'all. And we finna go off to what they call osteopathy, because this is what the doctors call it. They call it cranial osteopathy. I'm sorry, these fucking Latin words, but it's called cranial osteopathy. And with that, this is what doctors practice. Outside of that, those who are like herbal medicine or those who are into mystic medicine, they call it craniosacral therapy. Now, getting back to what neuroplasticity is, when Neo touched that mirror, he was in a moment of this. He was in a moment of his brain being rewired. It's when the brain is rewired to function in some way that differs from how the previous functioned. Are we looking at the same definition? Let me blow that up. Making sure I'm not on fucking mute. I'm not on mute, but let me blow that up and move it to the side. I think that's big enough. All right. This is what was let me move this out of the way. This is what was happening when Neo was touching the mirror. I don't know what y'all think that was what was going on. But if we try to wake up out of the matrix, if we try to get better awareness, we have to know what's really going on. We can't be lied to by the devil telling you that pirates cover their eye up because of Illuminati, because of Luciferian, and he have on the Raiders hat. You can't have these people telling you how the fuck to get out of the matrix. You can't have people like that telling you how to get up out of this shit. But Didac is here. Didac is for to show you tangible information. So when you are faced with the ability to use all four comprehensions and all four standings, you will find yourself outside the cube, nigga. You will find yourself outside the box. You will find yourself being outstanding, nigga. Fucking with me. But with that being said, this is what happened with Neo when he touched the mirror. It's the ability of neural networks in the brain to change through growth and reorganization. It is when the brain is rewired to function in some way that differs from its previous function. These changes range from individual neural pathways, making new connections, to systematic adjustments like chordal remapping. And remember, I told y'all, in order for you to have a map, you got to have coordinates and you got to have measurements. And them niggas that shows y'all those flat earth maps don't got no coordinates or no measurements. So they not mapping absolutely nothing for you. But when you in this state of neuroplasticity, this is what's going on. You are now remapping. Examples of neuroplasticity include circuit and network changes that result in learning a new ability, environment influence, practice, and psychological stress. I'm going to make this. Yeah, hit that thumbs up. Now I'm finna get all YouTubey and shit. Like, hit the thumbs up, share the shit. Hit the thumbs up and share it. No, I ain't gonna get YouTubey. But this shit needs to go viral, though. Neuroplasticity was once thought as neuroscientists to manifest only during childhood. What was the Matrix saying? Let's read that again. Neuroplasticity was once thought by neuroscientists to manifest only during childhood. Huh? Neo, we usually don't wake people up this late. Their mind is dangerous and it's hard for them to let go, meaning that they woke up kids. Let's read that again. Neuroplasticity, what? Was once thought by neuroscientists, what? To manifest only during childhood. What? What? And with that being said, I forgot to play my goddamn theme song, and I'm finna get to it. I'm finna play my Dude, I forgot to play my damn theme song. Dude, I got straight into it because that's, dude, today, that nigga, man, I'm trying to tell you, man, the nigga is the motherfucking devil. But let me pull out. And this, I can, yeah, this is, I can take a little 5-minute break, to say the least, because I want y'all to hear this music, because this music, you know, I always play music that is always that goes with my stream, always. I don't veer off. I do not veer off in my music. If I'm not playing it. All right, now check this out. I want y'all to pay attention. I'm going to show you the, what's his name of this? Because usually, you know how they say we cover up the label so nobody won't bite your shit? That's what I do. I do cover up my label, and I do not like niggas biting my shit, boy, because I'm a true DJ. Trust me. I'm a true DJ. And I hate niggas who bite my motherfucking shit, boy. I hate when niggas bite my shit, but none the motherfucking less. As y'all can see here, I'm very eclectic when it comes down to music. I'm like no one else. So when you hear motherfuckers talking about they know music, no, they don't. Because when I told them that that the Carnivore album made by Wyclef Jean was the best Sonic album that came out that year, because it was. It was. Everybody said that. All the music engineers, the music associations, all that shit said that that Carnivore album with Gone to September, Triple Fat Goose, Wantara Mera, all that shit, dog. Dog had Carlos Santana to come play guitar. The nigga had real live a fucking orchestra to play that goddamn Gone to November song. Trust me, the best Sonic sounding album. But these niggas will tell you that no, it wasn't, because y'all don't know music. That's why. So I'm showing and sharing with you the name of this album that goes perfectly with this stream, because Gorillaz was talking about this years ago in 2010 about plasticity, but they call it the world of the plastic beach. And with that, no pun intended, because it's a girl out there who call herself the beach is better. This don't got shit to do with you. Nothing to do with you. And with that being said, this is the album that we are going to be. It's 2 songs out of here that we're going to be listening to. The first song is called Welcome to the World of the Plastic Beach. And then the next one is going to be Rhinestone. All right. I'm not going to go through the lyrics like I did with my last song. I'm just going to play it. Y'all going to listen. And if y'all can hear the lyrics, that's great. And it also would give me a 5-minute motherfucking interlude. And with that being said, let's play it.
Gorillas in the Boss Dog, Planet of the Apes. revolution will be televised. And the pollution from the ocean, now with devotion, push peace and keep it in motion. Kids gather around, yeah, I need your focus. I know it seems like the world is so hopeless. It's like Wonderland. Now fascinate me, picture and animate me, cause I'm rolling, heat holding, click clacking, crack a lacking, full packing, more stacking, acting a fool when I teach. Welcome to the world of the plastic beach. Yeah. Welcome to the world of the plastic beach. Mirror, mirror on the wall, boss dog, give it to him, get involved, turn it up, speed it up, slow it up, underground buddy under us, undercut, shipped up, chipped out, swimming with the sharks with my gills up, turn the wheels up real tough, drinking lemonade in the shade, getting blade with a gang of pilgrims. Yeah, this is my path, belly flopping, rocking while I'm rocking in the bubble bath. And I'm just like math, 4 zones added up to get you more cash. Yeah, so quick, so fast. All the kids say they love it when I make them laugh. Welcome to the world of the plastic beach. Yeah. Welcome to the world of the plastic beach. Welcome to the world of the plastic beach. Yeah. Welcome to the world of the plastic beach. Welcome to the world of the plastic beach.
And I hope y'all was listening to him. We said mirror, mirror on the wall. What did Neo touch? A mirror. This is not coincidence, y'all. This is consequence. It's a sequence. I call it pro-sequence, but it's a sequence. It's a consequence, not a coincidence. And if you listen to that song, he was saying, welcome to the world of the plastic beach, nigga. Meaning shit terraforming. It's terraforming as we speak because it's plasticity. It's easily to be molded and shaped. Let's go to this other song that it's probably hard for y'all to comprehend and follow, but I'm still gonna play the shit, baby. I'm still gonna play it. So let's listen to the other one that is totally relevant, because after this song, we finna get off into some more of what this plasticity is, and then we finna get off into the nerve and actually how the nerve operate, and then we finna get off into what they call, hold on, let me see. I got it written down. Hold on. 1 second. 1 second. Welcome to the world of the plastic beach. We finna get off into neural networking. All right. We finna get off into that. But before we do, here's the other song. I'm finna mute up.
I'm a scary gargoyle on a tower that you made with plastic power. Your rhinestone eyes are like factories far away, where the paralytic dreams that we all seem to keep drive on engines till they weep with future pixels in factories far away. So call the mainland from the beach. Your part is now washed up in bleach. The waves are rising for this time of year, and nobody knows what to do with the heat. Under sunshine pylons we'll meet while rain is falling like rhinestones from the sky. All the birds down the groves have been alternated with my soul. I prayed on the immovable, yet clinging to the atoms of rock. Seasons, the adjustments, signs of change. I can't see now, she said, taxi. Now that light is all I can take. This storm brings strange loyalties and skies. I'm a scary gargoyle on a tower that you made with plastic power. Your rhinestone eyes are like factories far away. Helicopters fly over the beach, same time every day, same routine. A clear target in summer when skies are blue. It's part of the noise when winter comes, it reverberates in my lungs. Nature's corrupted in factories far away. Your love's like rhinestones falling from the sky. Well, future exalts in factories far away. Your love's like rhinestones falling from the sky. Far away.
Y'all go on your own recognizance and go back on that music. His name's Gorilla. This was your first animated group. Animated. Now y'all want to talk about all that hologram shit and y'all not up on gorillas, but nonetheless, because Sanchez would be talking about the gorillas. If he was talking about this holographic world, he would have been talking about the gorillas. But because he don't know nothing about real music, he would never know about these people. Now he know, because I know he's watching. But do y'all due diligence. Go on gorilla shit. This album is called Plastic Beach. The two songs I played was Welcome to the World, the Plastic Beach with Snoop Dogg. And the other one I played was Rhinestones, Rhinestone Eyes. Look into those lyrics because they talking about fractal coding, which we're going to get into when we talk about neural networking. And they was talking about pixels. I'm a scary gargoyle on the town that I made with plastic powers. So you got to understand, they ain't talking about plastic that you drink water out of. Like this, they ain't talking about that plastic. That got its name after man was molding shit. It's called plasticity. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, I'm losing connection. Yeah, for sure. Hey, mine's eye, yeah. You can't pull nothing over that nigga's eye. But yeah, getting on that, let's go to share screen again. And we're going to go to neuroplasticity again. And we're going to get off into what it actually means to be neural networking. Because we in a time that is sensitive, whether we know it or not. We neural networking right now on this computer. Y'all can walk away from it easily, just like Oculus. You can always turn that motherfucker off. Look at Marlon Wayans. He made a whole new show on that Oculus. He got a whole new show, and it looked like it's pretty entertaining. You know, they put on the Oculus. They put him in these apparatuses that move something like you would in real life if you got the Oculus on. So it seems scary because they don't have control of it, to say the least. So when we go to neural networks and neural circuiting, I'm going to show you where your computer and how you write formula. Let me get back. Hold on. Let me look up something right quick. This is going to be fast. Pull back. Where I'm at. There they go. Hold on. Because what we're going to learn is that this neuron that we looking at is going to be it's a code. Hold on. Let me. Okay, there we go. It's a code. It's a neural network code. All right. Now that we got what neuroplasticity, let's go over that one more time so it be drilled in our head. We're going to read this whole entire thing. All right. Neuroplasticity, also neuroplasticity, also known as neural plasticity or brain plasticity, is the ability of neural networks in the brain to change through growth and reorganization. It is when the brain is rewired to function in some way that differs from how it previously functioned. These changes range from individual neuron pathways, making new connections, to systematic adjustments like cortical remapping. Examples of neuroplasticity include circuit and network changes that results from learning a new ability, environmental influence, practice, and psychological stress. Neuroplasticity was once thought by neuroscientists to manifest only during childhood, but research in later half of the 20th century, because remember, when they were waking everyone up looking for the one, Morpheus found out later in his research, because he was a neuroscientist. Morpheus was a neuroscientist. And later on, he found out that it can be raised up in adulthood. That's how he found Neo. So we're going to say this again. I'm raw at this. Neuroplasticity was once thought by neuroscientists to manifest only during childhood, but research in later half of the 20th century showed that many aspects of the brain can be altered or are plastic even through adulthood. So when they found Neo as a young adult, he knew then, later in his research, he can wake that nigga up later in his years. But he said that we usually don't do that. But later on in their practice, they found out that they could find an adult to wake up. However, the developing brain exhibits a higher degree of plasticity than the adult. I'm going to say this again. However, the development brain exhibits a higher degree of plasticity than the adult brain. So the child has more ability to stretch, change, mold from crystal to liquid, from solid to liquid. They have the ability to do that. Okay. Activity dependent plasticity can have significant implications for health development, learning, memory, and recovery from brain damage. Now, let's go here. And know what neural circuits, or what was the other one? Neural networks or neural circuits. All right, neural circuits, which is neural networks. A neural circuit is a population of neurons interconnected by synapses to carry out specific functions when activated. Neural circuits interconnected to one another to form a large-scale brain network. Large-scale brain networks. All right. Now that we got that covered a little bit, I want to draw your attention to this right quick. Hold on. Where I'm at, where's my history? All right. All right.
It's propagation.
I'm going to show this. It's called building a neural network from scratch. How in the fuck can you build a neural network from scratch, Didac? Hold on. How can you do that, Didac? Can y'all see that? All right. Artificial neural networks, better known as ANN, artificial neural networks. We all know what it means, that they took it from what was original, just what I just got finished explaining. But what I'm going to show you, I'm paralleling and also comparing and contrasting with what the computer world is doing. All right? This is what the computer world is doing. Now, the computer world, in terms of how the man built the computer, of course he built it just like the fucking brain. Of course, that's not a secret. But what's the secret is how that brain functions. And I'm telling you that nobody is telling you how the computer function or how the brain function. They ain't telling you. They just roundabout wild guessing. And if they say enough shit, they'll sound right. But with that being said, a computing system inspired by biological neural networks that constitutes in animal brains or human brains, to say the least, is the artificial neural network is based on the collection of connected units or nodes called artificial neurons, which those model the neurons in the biological brain. Each connection, like the synapse, just what I just got finished explaining, in the biological brain can transmit a signal to other neurons. I'm going to stop there because I'm finna pull out and share this with y'all. People like to show images and shit, right? Because this is how they use to scale the artificial neural connection. There are, when you doing the basic, right? Because I'm going to show you where this, I'm going to show you where I'm going to show this dude. He is building a neural network from scratch. It may sound confusing, but it's not. Let's think of these three simple things. You got an input layer, you got a hidden layer, which is in between your input and your output, and then you got the output layer. You have your input and output, and in between you have your hidden layer. Your input layer talks to your hidden layer. Your hidden layer talks to the output. That's what you see on your computer. So what your computer does, it gathers information. Remember, we went through the Modal window. That's the reason why I labeled it the Modal window. It gathers information. It then waits on the person who's trying to get the information to open it up, meaning that it's hidden behind that. That's the reason why people say about artificial intelligence that your computer can do something other than what you tell it, because it's what's hidden. And remember, that's a part of the God. I didn't write this. Didac didn't write this formula on how to do motherfucking coding. And as a motherfucking fact, let's go to that share screen while everything is hot, fresh grease. I'm talking about hot and fresh out the oven. Let me share this little young Sung Young Pao. I think I'm speaking Japanese. I really think so. Let me go ahead and put this up, because that's exactly what this is for. Disclaimer. This is for scholarship, education, research, and all that good shit. And with that being said, let's see what this little young Chinese boy got to say about building a neural network from scratch. These are the programs that they use. No TensorFlow, which is a program. No PyTorch, which is a program. Just NumPy and math. Meaning that his NumPy program helps him break down formulas. Like if he write it there, read the formula, and then really break it down. Because you're going to see this little young, it's supposed to be a young black dude. When I typed this, trust me, I was looking for black folks to explain this shit. Trust me, I was looking for black people to explain it. I explained it in the Agda. And I think it probably went through, but now I got another motherfucker who is outside of me. He's outside of Didac. He don't subscribe to Didac. He don't know who the fuck I am. But watch what he's saying. The same shit I told you about the oscillator. When I was showing you 0 through 9, when you saw perfect sequence and the things that move, the one that moves is the 8th one that moves in that sequence, to show the sequence to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now you finna see a white boy that's going to probably, I said white boy, the Chinese boy, who's probably going to confuse most of y'all. But I'm going to help him I'm going to break it down in layman's terms what he's talking about. But this shit, and I'm only going to play like after 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it's really explained. Even though it's 31 minutes, he go off into some other shit, but he really explained it in the first 5 minutes. So let me mute up. Let Samsung Zing or Zhang, let him speak.
Not using TensorFlow, not using Keras, just NumPy with equations, linear algebra from the ground up. Anyone interested in artificial intelligence or machine learning is probably very familiar with neural networks at a high level, right? You have lots of layers, lots of nodes. You connect them all together. You can have some really complex models from it that make some cool predictions, right? I find that a lot of that kind of learning, right, when you're just looking at stuff from the high level, is kind of wishy-washy. And even if you go into TensorFlow and implement these networks, it's still a little unclear like how they work, at least.
TensorFlow is a program that you will put this algorithm in, in terms of artificial intelligence, what you're trying to find out. Just say like you trying to find out how many times a human being blink in a day. You ain't gonna sit there and go click, 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 click. No, you need an algorithm in a program that you'll go 1 minute, you will clock him for 1 minute to see how many times he blink his eye. Or you can even go faster than that and just say 30 seconds. And you take that 30 seconds. This is just simple math of algorithm or algebra, you dumb motherfuckers. You can take that 30 seconds and times it by the day and then come up with a roundabout number. But because eye blinking is frantic, because eye blinking is unpredictable, your software has to be up to par. So that's what he's talking about. He's talking about the software to get the shit. But let us move forward.
At least for me, I feel like I learn a lot better when I can get to the equations, when I can really build from the ground up. And you really can't get too much closer than implementing a neural network from scratch. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So let's dive right into it. The problem that we'll be tackling is digit classification. We'll be using a famous data set called the MNIST data set. So what the MNIST data set is it's tens of thousands of these 28 by 28, so pretty low res grayscale images of handwritten digits. We are going to be building a neural network that classifies images of handwritten digits and tells you what digit is written in that image.
In other words, just say if you was coming from Sweden or coming from Slavic, you know, these people out here, you are Slavic, but nonetheless, just say if you came from Russia and you wrote your number 7 different, he is creating a neural network that will tell you, oh, a Russian wrote that. So just say if I wrote a number 7, the neural network will know that African American wrote the motherfucker number 7. The way I just wrote it, the algorithm that it will be able to pick that up. That's what he's telling you. So let me pause and let him speak.
Handwritten digits. We are going to, what the MNIST data set is it's tens of thousands of these 28 by 28, so pretty low res grayscale images of handwritten digits. We are going to be building a neural network that classifies images of handwritten digits and tells you what digit is written in that image. This is an overview of what everything is going to look like, what we're going to implement today. And we're going to start off with 28 by 28 pixel training images. So that's 784 pixels overall. And each of those pixels is just a pixel value, right? It's
28 times 28. Remember, y'all flat earthers don't gauge. Y'all don't scale. Y'all don't use numbers to tell you how far shit is from what. So 28 by 28, he's telling you the pixels inside of this image that it's going to be creating this image. So now you got 784 pixels to fuck with. How you going to which ones are going to be lit up? Which ones are not going to be lit up? How you going to write that code? All shit like that. And we only 1 minute and 34 seconds into it. And he is already explaining how to build a fucking neural network, nigga. But you can't build one. Because you know why? Y'all don't got no code. Y'all have absolutely no code. If you go back on Didact's shit, get those views up. Now see, I'm doing the fucking YouTube shit. But yeah, get those views up on the ones that y'all not watching. Those are the most important ones. Because I'm telling you, from the point of you using your mind to prepare yourself so you won't have a poor performance. I've been telling you about the oscillator, and now all of a sudden, oscillating is coming out of this nigga's mouth, 40 going fucking north. And he don't even know what the fuck that is. I told you about direct current. I told you about damn, it's at the tip of my tongue. It's the other current that America used. God damn it. Alternate. There it is. I told you about alternate current. I told you about direct current. I told you what numbers coincide with direct current and what numbers coincide with alternate current. I told you in direct current, it's as simple. Direct current means this, that even America is set up somewhat. The homes are alternate current, but the way you get your power is direct. But if your house is direct current, which is like in England and shit like that, long as that motherfucking power plant is up, your power is up. That power plant goes down, your power is down. It's somewhat here. But here's the difference between alternate current and direct current. Our current, once you give it to us, it circulates. It don't have to keep coming from the power plant. Because once it get here, our transformers and all that shit, that keeps the electricity in the area moving around instead of it keep constantly coming from. That's what direct does. Direct current just keeps coming from its source, where the alternate current, once it gets its power from the source, it can keep using it over and over and over again. That's the difference between alternate current and direct current, and how this applies to human beings in real life. When you are connected to the creators or creator, gods or gods, goddesses, how you want to put it, whatever your connection is, rather if you was an atheist, right? You have a direct connection, which is 1 through 10, or you have a alternate connection, which is 0 through 9. When you got your 1 through 10, that energy tends to dissipate once it's used. But if you go on 0 through 9, you always have the same energy over and over and over again, because you know why? It's alternating. It ain't directly coming from something. It's alternating. Meaning that you do get your power directly from the creators, but you are also creating that power yourself, which is alternate. Unlike other people, they only wait on for the creators to give them that power to so-called create, and I'm using that word loosely. They would never take it, but they delusional. They are in a grandeur of delusion when they think they are gods and they think they are creators. Like I be hearing Sanchez loosely talk, like he be saying that he's his God and whatever the fuck case may be. Nigga, you ain't nowhere near it. You ain't nowhere near your God body. So I wouldn't even call you God. And I know I know I'm a God, but I can't even call you that because you haven't even earned. I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt, said you earned your crown, but you did not earn your God body. So you running around here telling everybody about the 7 chakra shit. You know nothing about that, man. And he gonna keep drilling that shit in people. But besides that, going to this neural connection, right? This neural network, I kind of digress because when the people who I'm directing this to, okay, I'm playing the numbers here because majority of them are not majority, some of them. Some of them are diehard Sanchez fans. And they are probably only up here to hear if I had something to say about this dude. You motherfucking right, I do got something to say about it. The nigga is a devil. He's a demon. He's no good. He's unrighteous. He's not an idiot at all. He's not dumb at all. He know what the fuck he's doing because he's the devil. The devil always got to know what the fuck he's doing. I mean, you got some dumb demons out there, but for the most part, they know what they're doing. And this guy know what he's doing. In one breath, he can lie to y'all in y'all face and tell you that the pirate who wears the patch over his eye is the devil. He's Luciferian. He's the Illuminati, and have on a Raiders hat explaining that to y'all. And y'all don't see that? Nobody didn't say, hey, Sanchez, you know you got a Raiders hat on. Do anybody know what that Raiders hat even mean? Fuck what you think the pirate mean. Do you know what that shield mean in the background? Dumb motherfuckers. And he wear that hat proudly, like he wear that Green Bay Packers hat. And he got a nerve to talk about CBS in the one eye. He said it's like CBS in the one eye. That's all devil worshiping. He said it, not me. But you wear the Green Bay Packers hat, nigga. I'm from Wisconsin. I'm not a Packer fan, but trust me, everybody around me is a diehard Packer fan. And trust me, I don't got no other choice but to be around this shit because I'm in the fucking state. I've been broke down that Green Bay Packers symbol, nigga. Been broke it down. Did you know they was called Acme, nigga? Before Green Bay Acme Packers. You want to talk about how you Aboriginals was original in sports. Did you know Green Bay was one of the first football franchises? You did not know that. Do you know what county that they surrounded by? But that's a whole nother thing. 784 pixels to play with, 28 by 28. 28 going up, 28 going across. So now that we got that, let me mute up and let this dude talk, and hopefully he won't confuse y'all.
Between 0 and 255, 255 being completely white, 0 being completely black. So we have M of these training images. So we can represent it as a matrix that looks like this. Each row constitutes an example, and
we can introduce this as a matrix. Now, I don't got no clips for the last matrix, the last one. But this is what Neo was doing when he was sitting at his desk and he was writing up a matrix. 28 white, 28 black. Let's rewind that so you can hear clearly what he mean by this.
Each row images. So that's 784 pixels overall. And each of those pixels is just a pixel value, right? It's between 0 and 255. 255 being completely white, 0 being completely black. So we have M of these training images. So we can represent it as a matrix that looks like this. Each row constitutes an example, and each row is going to be 784 columns long because each of them is going to correspond to one pixel in that image. What we're actually going to do is transpose this matrix. Instead of each row being an example, each column is an example. So our first column is going to be our first example, and it's going to have 784 rows corresponding to each pixel, and we're going to have M columns corresponding to our M training examples. Our goal is to take this image, just do a bunch of processing, and then give out a prediction for what digit that image represents.
He's explaining how to build a neural network between you as being the software to the computer's hardware. You being the software, because remember, software is as if not more important to the computer as the computer hardware to themselves. I'm going to say that again. The computer software becomes sometimes more important to the actual computer. Some people will dump the computer because they don't have the software to run the motherfucker. If you don't got Windows, Java, what's the other one? It's plenty of them. Plenty of them. But if you don't got these software programs inside your computer ain't going nowhere. The motherfucker ain't going nowhere. It's just gonna be a screen that can light up, nigga. That's it, and that can push numbers. It can push digits in there. It got the capacity to do everything what we know what the computer can do today, like go on YouTube, stream, because I just got finished hearing question everything, talking about come to TrueTube and all this and that and blase spliffy. Yeah, that software allowed you to do that. So what this dude is doing, he's showing you how to be the software to the hardware in your computer. So when Neo was waking up, because what he's explaining is plasticity in the computer world, which is neural networking. And if you look at neuroplasticity, that's neural networking. We don't went through the definition 100,000 times. So when you're going through neural networks in the brain, when your nerves are connecting the end of the dendrites, when you get these synapses going in between, communicating, telling you your heart to beat, right? For instance, where is that? Where I'm at? All right. Like for instance, when you doing neural connection, you know the servers serve as what they call a plexus. Let's look up the word plexus. Not the company. Definition and anatomy. This is what happens when these networks come to a meeting point, like the servers. Like if anybody who got a PlayStation, right? They got a server. Xbox got a server. Microsoft, all these places got servers, like the cloud and all that shit. This is what you call plexuses in the human being nervous system, where the computer is mimicking this. The computer are mimicking this. So when you hear people talking about, oh, the computer is creating clones and all that dumb shit, that they are grabbing onto shit that is already being created, that's already created in terms of that. They are not giving a real explanation behind what is taking place with these so-called robots or clones. Why you cannot tell the difference between them and a real human being. If there was a such thing. The reason why you can't is because, number one, nobody don't tell you about anatomy and physiology. That's number one. And number two, you can't spot them because they can't line it up with sacred geometry. And what I'm doing right now, I'm lining this up with sacred geometry. And in the sacred geometry, if you notice when Neo touched the mirror and when his body was now being taken over to be reformed, that was plasticity at its point. And we're going to get off into the astral connection, in which when Neo woke up and when the brain cell or the nerve cell, when it goes through its point of what they call awakening, it's called I'm not going to say it until I get to it. But with that being said, this is where the meeting spot of the nerves take place. It's called a plexus. And in these plexuses, there are regions in which these plexuses takes place. You got your cardiac plexus, you got your cervical plexus, bronchial plexus, you got your lumbar, you got your sacral plexus. These control your muscles, these control your breathing, all empathetic and pathetic. That's what I call it. I'm sorry. But I think that's what it's empathetic, or some shit like that. But it's the voluntary and involuntary parts of your body. Voluntary, meaning that you can bend your leg. Involuntary, if I hit your knee with a reflex motherfucking thing and your knee jump up, that's involuntary. So it controls both of those motor sensories in these plexuses. And when your individual nerves are connecting and trying to tell each other what's the information needed to make shit move, or just to say the least, me talk, those dendrites are connecting through what they call, hold on. What are they called, Didac? What are they called? Let me pull back.
It's propagation. And
they ain't called propagation. They are called, and I heard people trying their best. Because I heard it, I said, oh, okay, they're not hitting it. They rounding about, but they're not hitting it. They're not hitting it. They're real sacred geometry, baby. Images of an astrocyte. Why do they call them astrocytes, Didac? Because they shape like your astral plane that's above, as they say, so below. But we talking about what's in between, though. Yeah, don't take this information, y'all. It's ironclad. Let me remove this out of the way. Oh, yeah, let me get that out of the way, definitely. Let me move this out of the way. Let me look at my chat, because my chat look like it's going off, and I'm in other, my attention is elsewhere. All right. Let me give a shout out first of all. Let me give a motherfucking shout out. Shout out to my motherfucking chat room. Mine's I in the building. Nick J. TC in the building. Sister Amma. So Amma in the building. Calico Chris in the motherfucking building. Trail Carter in the motherfucking building. This look like 4D. I don't know. I wouldn't even try to pronounce that, but it looked like 4D Fluck. I don't know. No, I'm not flat power, baby. But with that being said, let's move forward. Yep, I think I got them all shot out. Oh, what did you say? TC is let me go back, because it looked like he's saying some shit here. Okay, let me see. Also radiation, blah blah blah. Let me see where he was first starting at. Okay, he said, well, I appreciate the wrench. He said, have a nice night, everyone. Okay, then he said, Also, radiation as well, Didek, is weakening your senses, so you're left as an empty shell and more accessible to programming. Get off the phone for a few days. These cell phones are making us weaker. Then he said MER radiation and the cell phones, it's all in their sneaky plan. It's radiation, MER damage. That is the effect the brain in your body. The radiation is changing your DNA through radiation, MER. That's why we are acting crazy. We are freaking psycho and out of our minds. It's from the radiation that's coming from your. He keeps saying the same thing over and over. Obviously, he think it's just coming from the phone, or that's why many people are experiencing depression, anxiety, brain cancer, blah, blah. Not to mention blurred vision. I hope you're using your earphones. You keep radiation from getting in. And most people treat their cell phones like a companion. That's why they isolate us from everyone during the pandemic. Okay. I'm not trying to tell no one what to do because you're grown and make your own choices. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Oh, TC says I'm a woman laughing my ass off. Okay. Let me tell you something, TC, about what you assume to be damaging in terms of what you call radiation. To be honest, in anything that we indulge in, there is a risk. Now, if you don't want to take a risk in what you indulge in terms of that, that means that you got to get rid of every electronic out of your house because your phone is the weakest of any kind of radiation that is being given out. If you stay next to any kind of transformer or any kind of cluster, electrical clusters, you fucked. If they put a G5 tower or G5 tower by your house or within I will give the benefit of the doubt for you within a quarter-mile radius, you're fucked. So that your cell phone is the last thing in terms of what you think is radiation. Because anything too much for you is bad for you. And with the risk of you using your phone, if you hold it up to your ear for periods of time, considering the heat that is coming off, because the instrument in itself to have power, the battery, the computer chips, all that shit, the screen, the backlight, as they call it, all that shit creates heat. That heat resonates. And then that resonation of that heat, it can be carried through there in terms of what you call decay or bad radiation because you're not really explaining what process is taking place in terms of radiation. We can say that about a microwave because a microwave puts off plenty goddamn radiation. It's how the radiation is decaying. Let's for I'm just doing this for you right now. This is not what's happening. Radioactive decay or radiation decay is the process by which an unstable atom nucleus loses its energy by radiation. A material containing unstable nuclei is considered radioactive. Not to say the least, but your phone is stable. It's stable, but there's the risk. It is a risk. It's a risk of using anything, like a car. When they engineered the car is supposed to be the most safest way of transportation, considering if every human being knew how to use it responsibly, but because human beings don't know how to use shit responsibly, it becomes the most dangerous motherfucking tool out there to transport. And when they do a comparison, I'm talking about today, when they do a comparison contrast, flying in an airplane is much more safer than driving in a car. When did that become a statistic? Is because of human beings and their era. You give more novice human beings control of what they would consider a risk when using it, but safe. It's totally safe, but it's a risk when you got a dumb motherfucker using it. So when you got more people, more dumb people using that tool that can cause a risk, and I'm using that loosely, it would seem more probable for an accident or incident in terms of exploding on the side of your face or burning the side of your ear or even getting radiation poison, whatever the case may be. That is a human being that do not weigh the options of what the risk is versus how to use something safe. The gun and the car are the number 1 and 2 objects in this motherfucking country. I'm not saying the world, but in this country, in the United States of America, those 2 things poses a risk when an irresponsible human being is using it. That's the same shit that goes for anything that is resonating any kind of energy. That's why your mama try to tell you not to sit in front of the TV. I don't know how old you are, but your mama used to try to tell you not to sit in front of TV, but you still watch Different Strokes, Facts of Life. I'm telling on myself in terms of age, shows like that. But your mama would tell you, don't stand in front of that TV so long because it will pose a risk. So when you're talking about radiation from a phone and its use, you sound like a conspiracy theorist that would take shit and blow it out of proportion because you don't know how it works and operates. Here on Didact's channel, we don't go for that shit here. All that conspiracy theory shit in terms of that. We talk about real shit over here. And we match it up with real sacred geometry like I'm doing, getting back to what I'm calling the astro, because he took that shit from me because I was talking about astro healing. And this is lumped up in astro healing because this is cranial osteopathy healing. And we're going to look up what cranial osteopathy is. As a matter of fact, no, let me finish with the astro site in the nerve. The astro site in the nerve, what is its function? Can y'all still see me? Yep, y'all can still see me. All right. Astrocytes not only regulate blood flow, but also transfer, what is that? What is that most important part of the cell structure in the blood that everybody was talking about? Remember, by like, I would give it take by like 5 to 8 years ago, mitochondria. Remember the mitochondria talk? And I think Sanchez even tried to stand on some shit and said, it ain't no such thing as mitochondria. Because, of course, with him, it ain't no such thing as melanin. And when people try to talk about neuromelanin, Sanchez, your master teacher, would tell you that it's no such thing as fucking melanin. But besides that, I think he had a conversation or pushback on the word mitochondria. And we all know what mitochondria is. And you know that the black woman has got what mitochondria they carry. Because they can only pass that down. None the motherfucking less. The woman, the only one that can pass down mitochondria in the cells. The male can't do that. Only the female can. Only the female can pass on mitochondria cells, period. Astrocytes are not only regulate blood flow, but also transfer mitochondria to the neurons and supply the building blocks of neurotransmission or neurotransmitters, which fuel neurometabolism. In addition, astrocytes can phagocyte synapses, cytosis synapse, alter neurotrophin secretion, and clear debris. Let's go to right here. Astro, stars from the word Greek, right? We know that. So we know that we are star beings, right? Well, at least some of us know that we come from the stars. At least some of us do. Considering that, when they seen this right here, they said that reminds us of something. What it reminds you of? The cosmos, the stars, the astral plane. That's what it reminds us of. Even with the ancients, but we're talking about modern medicine here. So when it remind them of that, it was fitting to call it astrocyte. Let's call it an astrocyte. We all know what site means, S-Y-T-E or S-I-G-H-T. It's like you pulling up to a site, but nonetheless, also known collectively as astroglia. Gilia. Astrogilla. Y'all gotta excuse me. Remember, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go back. Woo, shit. All right. Because remember, I told y'all about the crown chakra and the blood-brain barrier. I told y'all about that. Y'all ain't paying attention to Didact, but y'all soon will. And y'all need to turn y'all motherfucking head away from that bullshit. But nonetheless, also known as astrogilla, right? Are characteristic star-shaped gilla cells, nerve cells in the brain and the spinal cord. They perform functions including biochemical control of the endothelial cells that form the blood-brain barrier. Remember, I was telling you about the matter, the dural matter, the pyromatter, the matter, and the arachnoid. Remember, I was telling you about these spaces in between the brain and the skull where a lot of motherfucking activity is going on with the blood. And in that is where the blood-brain barrier is. The blood-brain barrier is responsible for filtering out anything that is brain related to the blood that is no good. Your kidneys is supposed to filter out anything that's bad in the blood that is bad for the body in terms of the lungs, the heart. That's where that filters at. But in the brain, it's called the blood-brain barrier. I knew this information in 1998, 97. I knew about this information since then. And I didn't know when and where I was going to actually get a chance to put this shit into practice. Because trying to explain this to some people, it was going over their head, because even when I was in the field, and I'm putting that in quotations because I was on the lower part, I was a certified nursing assistant. A certified nursing assistant, that's what I was. But when I used to talk to the registered nurses and shit, and I'd be telling them, I said, you need to take ginkgo so you can clear out your blood-brain barrier. And them motherfuckers be like, what the fuck is you talking about? And I surprised that what's his name don't know about this herb. Let me see if I can type it up right quick. Up, go back, pull back. Because in the blood-brain barrier, let me see. I'm gonna put, there it is. Ginkgo. That's how you say it, ginkgo. Ginkgo. All right. Let me see if I can wiki it. Because you know I like the wiki. Wiki, wiki, wiki. Wiki, wiki, wiki. All right, ginkgo. Ginkgo is a species of trees native to China. Blah, blah, blah. Skippy woo woo. Let's look at its properties and what it's used for. Because this is a Chinese herb that I've been knew about. But I'm looking for let me see. Let me pull it back. And I'm going to go right here and say, all right. There we go. The most helpful component in ginkgo are believed to be flavonoids, which have powerful antioxidant qualities, and terpenoids, which help improve circulation by diluting the blood vessels and reducing stickiness of platelets, which is mostly relieved that in the temporal artery, which is the brain, right? Because here it is. They say it has many benefits, blah, blah, blah. It's used, look, this is all mental related. It's used for treatment of dementia, Alzheimer's disease, fatigue. Other conditions may be used and treated are anxiety, depression, schizophrenia, insignificant blood flow to the brain. So niggas need ginkgo go plus. That's what I'll be calling it. Insufficient blood flow to the brain, blood pressure problems, altitude sickness, erectile dysfunction, which is a nerve thing. That's a nerve thing. Your nerve is not communicating with your vas deferens down there. And that's the reason why people got erectile dysfunction, neuropathy, cancer, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, or ADHD. Ginkgo is used for ADHD. So since we got that little part out of the way, where I know for a fact that when I was in my young 20s, telling motherfuckers who are 50 years old, who have been to school for many, many years, and I'm telling them something about medical shit that they don't know about. So, like I said, I know how the nervous system works. And when we talk about how the nervous system works, you then can see how they mimic that nervous system in which how computers work. And most people don't know how computers work, because you know why? They don't know how the brain works. They don't know how shit networks, but they talk like they do. When they say, oh, I've been astroplaning, or what the fuck they say? Lucid dreaming. They say they lucid dream. All this shit that takes a discipline in terms of what you're supposed to know. And what you're supposed to know, it takes a discipline for that. And in taking that discipline, and in taking that discipline, it can't be taken loosely in that discipline. And because of that, a lot of people lack the brain capacity and power to even activate certain chakras. And I'm using that quotation loosely, but they don't got the means and ways to operate chakras because they don't know how they body work in terms of anatomy and physiology and chemistry and shit like that. They don't know how they brain work. So this is what Didec is here to teach you. This is what Didec is here to teach you. Your phone is not draining you. Your phone is not draining you. I'm going to tell you that. You know what's draining you? Your improper way of using it. Your improper way of using it. That's it. That's all that's there to it. The phone don't drain you. It won't give you radiation poison unless you misuse it. If you misuse it, take disadvantage of it, then yeah, you're going to take a risk of whatever conspiracy theory that you're talking about in terms of what the cell phone will do. He said the cell phone will drain you. The cell phone will fuck with your health. Whatever the case may be, if you misuse and take disadvantage of the motherfucker, yes, it will. And most people who follow that nigga will misuse and take disadvantage of their phone. So in hindsight, your conspiracy theory will work over there. Because you got a bunch of silly motherfuckers who will actually indulge in this shit and will find out the hard way in terms of their due diligence. Because even with all this information you're given, that's not going to stop a person from going and get the fucking iPhone, a new one. And it's not going to stop them from getting a Google Pixel. It's not going to stop them from getting the Samsung, the Galaxies, the Motorola Edges. It's not going to stop nobody from buying a goddamn car, even though motherfuckers get ran over every single day. As we speak right now, somebody's car is flipping over on somebody's freeway. As we speak right now, sir. I mean, ma'am. I'm sorry. Ma'am, you said you was a woman. But ma'am, seriously, someone right now is flipping over in a car. These car dealerships they got too many cars to sell. That's another thing. That's what you should be doing is conspiring about that. If there's something simple to conspire about. I think they got enough cars for everybody in the world. They act like they don't, so they got to sell the motherfuckers to you. All those cars in the parking lot, it's not enough human beings, to say the least, that come to the lot to buy all the motherfuckers. I've been living on this earth for way too long, and I've seen car dealerships for way too long. Fleets of cars, not fleet of people. Fleet of people don't, man, people sell cars. They'd be lucky if they could sell 20 cars in one day. But they got enough cars on that lot for them to sell for a whole year. If they sold 30 cars in a day, if they sold 30 cars in one day, they have enough cars on the parking lot to last them for 1 year. But in hindsight, they only really selling like 10 cars a day or some shit like that. So it'd be plenty cars left on the lot. Now, that's something to think about and conspire about. But what I'm saying in hindsight is that it's not going to stop nobody from walking on the lot, buying them a car, even though they auntie probably got ran over. A lot of people die in car accidents. That's not going to stop them from buying a car, because the risk is only on the man, not the machine. The machine is built in terms of that. The cars ain't built for you to kill each other with, or are they? So go on Sanchez's channel and pop that question up. Maybe he indulges that shit because he's stupid like that. Maybe they do make cars for people to kill themselves. Hey, y'all, the only reason why they make cars is not for you to get to A and B in a convenience, but it's for you to kill yourself with. Look at it. Look at it. People die from more car accidents than they do anything. People die from more car accidents than they actually get shot. Sanchez was wrong with that shit, boy. He was wrong with that shit. Like she doing with the cell phone shit. They running with it. No, I don't think everything is conspiracy. Not at all. But getting back to the crux at hand, neural networking is simply getting an input, getting a hidden input, and then having an output. Same thing that goes on with the human being. We get our input from our mother. We gather the information, we hide it within ourselves. And then whatever that we choose to express outward, that's what we will do. So when you're talking about a simple neural network, you got input, hidden, and output. Input, hidden, and output. You have input layer, hidden layer, output layer. You have input layer, hidden layer, and output layer. You have input layer. I can't keep saying it enough. I'm saying it like fucking Umar Johnson. Hidden layer and output layer. These are basics of neural networking. So when you're talking to someone who is a computer programmer, you can have conversations with them. You can't have a conversation with them telling you fit a lucid dream and plug up out of the matrix and go into CERN and go into some other shit. They'll look at you crazy as a motherfucker. But if you can talk to them in a computer terms, in terms of, I know what neural networking is. It's an input, a hidden, and an output. Or it's an input layer, a hidden layer, and an output layer. Simple. input. It can be anything you want the fuck it to be. The computer then will figure that shit out for itself, which is the hidden, and then it will output it out. Rather, if anybody ever seen Revenge of the Nerds, and they was talking about that shit on Sanchez channel. Oh my God, what is going on, man? They reinforcing over there, man. I mean, them motherfuckers are forming like Voltron on me. He calling reinforcements, dog. But in the movie Revenge of the Nerds, Lewis, the nerd, he was showing this girl how to do computer programming. And he was just hitting a whole bunch of buttons and shit. And then the algorithm showed where he was drawing a cartoon figure of him and her holding hands doing a dance on a computer. So what he did, he was the input. The computer, it was what was hidden. The screen gave us its output. That's exactly what happened. The Modal window. So let's go to what Modal window is again, because I think y'all forgot. Let's see what a Modal window is again. Modal window and user interface designed for computer application. A Modal window is a graphic control element subordinate to an application main window. A Modal window create a mode that disables the main window but keeps it visible. With the Modal window as a child window in front of it, users must interact with the Modal window before they can return to the parent application. This avoids interrupting the workflow of the main window. Modal windows are sometimes called heavy windows, Modal dialogues, because they often display a dialog box. Now, what that have to do with what we're talking about and talking about neural networking? Neural networking, if I wish to use it in real life, and we're talking about plasticity here, the ability to change shit, the ability to mold shit or shit that is easily molded, the plasticity of it. If I wish to meet, just say, mind's eye, if I wish to meet him in person, we will both have to open up our Modal window in order for us to have this interface or interchanging. Same thing with the computer. When you clicking on windows and opening shit up, that's exactly what is going on. You know what they say about the eyes to the motherfucking in the head is windows to the soul, right? Right. So when we talk about Modal window, we are actually talking about the operation in which the computer interacts with one another. I'm talking about other computers. A Modal window creates a mode that disables the main window, meaning this. If I talk to mind's eye, if he feel like something is up with me, he can shut down right then and there. So he can disable his main window, right? They say eyes are windows to the soul, right? But it's not the door to the motherfucker. And plus you can draw the shade. And that's what they telling you what you can do. A Modal windows create a mode that disables the main window, but keeps it visible. So I can be talking to mind's eye, and mind's eye can be some fucking where else. But how would I know that without knowing how a Modal window works? Like I said, I be saying this shit to Sanchez and all his other minions. It just go over their head. I tell him that I'm fit to apply the Modal window. And with that being said, this all coincides with this all coincides with neural networking, neuroplasticity. Let's go back to that definition. Neuroplasticity and what it means to be Neo in the Matrix when he's touching that mirror. That was at the point of plasticity when he was changing, when he was going through his change. All right. This is exactly what he was going through right here. Now, people would think that the word plastic comes from plasticity and not the other way around. So when you're talking about, this is in physics, because remember, we think we fucking with physical shit. So when he touched the mirror and he seen the mirror wave and go back and forth in physics and material science, plasticity, also known as plastic deformation, is the ability of a solid material to undergo permanent deformation, a non-reversible change of shape in response that applied force. For example, a solid piece of metal being bent or pounded into a new shape displays plasticity. And we know metal is not plastic. We know metal is not plastic. But when they beating it, right? When we talking about forgers here, we talking about men of a craft, men of an art. We talking about real masonry, not that fake speculatorial bullshit that Art Cooking them spew. Not that dumb shit that people can actually probably put a conspiracy around talking about they devil worshippers. No, I'm talking about the real masonry when you got to bend metal. That's called plasticity. For example, a solid piece of metal being bent or pounded into a new shape displays plasticity, as permanent change occurs within the metal itself. In engineering, the transition from elastic behaves to plastic behavior is known as yielding. That's what that is known as. Plastic deformation is observed in most materials, particularly metals, soil, rock, concrete, and foam. However, the physical mechanism that cause plastic deformation can vary widely at a crystalline scale. Because remember, we're going to talk about crystals, about the bones. Because I didn't even get to the bones yet, because we didn't get to the cranial osteopathy yet, where the fucking crystals is taking place. As a crystal scale, plasticity in metals is usually a consequence of dislocation, meaning this. You ever seen people get stones in their kidney? Yes, indeedy, baby. Such defects are relatively rare in most crystalline materials, but are numerous in some and part of crystal structures. In such cases, plastic crystallinity, that almost sounds like Christianity. That says crystallinity. Get the fuck out of here. That's some. Hey, we learning today. I'm writing that word down. Down. Because I never heard of this word. Crystallinity. Crystallinity. That's almost sound like Christianity, but crystallinity. Watch. I'm pretty sure somebody. Dog, we didn't hear this word before. I know y'all never heard this word before. I know y'all never heard this fucking word before. Anyway, let's get back to reading. But are numerous in some and parts of crystal structures. In some cases, plastic crystallinity can result in brittle materials such as rock, concrete, and bone. Plasticity is the cause of dominating. Damn, I don't know why am I doing that? I don't know. Anyway, plasticity is caused predominantly by slip at macro cracks in cellular materials such as liquid foam or biological tissue. Plasticity is mainly a consequence of bubble or cell rearrangement. Notable T1 process. And I'm going to freeze it there. And that is the short definition of plasticity in physics. Plasticity and neuroplasticity, also known as, is the ability of neural networks in the brain to change through growth and reorganization. I don't know why I'm fumbling over these words. Reorganization. It is when the brain is rewired to function in some way that differs from how it previously functioned. That's neuroplasticity. So we looked up plasticity as the definition in physics, plasticity as was it relate to neuroplasticity, and then we look up plasticity as its base, meaning that it's easy to change your mode. So your brain neurons are going through this, and the main culprit for it to change is what they call the fucking astrocyte. These astrocytes will move this information back and forth to give it change. So the information that it needs to change, just like the information that you need to go to the gym and lift weights so you can change your body and your health. Right? It has to be a carrier. And in that carrier, it got to make sure that it gets there safe and sound and is able to do its shit, just like how you will get up, go to the gym, make sure you're safe and all that shit. Your neurons do the same thing. And a major corporate in that neuron is what they call the astrocyte. The astrocyte is responsible for the mitochondria going from here to fro. And a woman is the only one that can push forth the mitochondria. So if it's stored in these astrocytes, which is stars, if it's stored in these stars and a woman carries these stars and the woman's the only one that can push these stars forth, what is it that is outside of that in which we cannot apply versus reaching for shit? Why do we got to reach for shit that we got our hands on? We have our hands on our woman, right? So that mitochondria is getting passed down. 223, 9, and 7. But nonetheless, we got our hands on what we consider what we can change and terraform, right? Let me come back. Right? So we have the ability of plasticity outside of our body, right? So when we talk about certain shit that most people is reaching outside of, check this out. We said this before. I'm going to say it again. I can't say it enough. You understand? This is something you can do. How come Sanchez, now we to the crux of my title, CST, craniosacral therapy, better known as cranial osteopathy. Now we just got finished going over crystals, how that plays a part in plasticity in the bone. We show plasticity in the nerve. We show plasticity in the blood. We show plasticity in the tissues. We show plasticity in physics in terms of you bending metal, wood, stone, whatever the fuck. Plasticity is everywhere. But they will have you thinking otherwise. But because there's the manipulation, we can see outside the plastic beach. We can see outside the plastic surgery or anything that is plastic and what we consider to be fake. We can see outside of that because we know the word plastic was taken from the word plasticity, which means to easily mold. And you can easily mold plastic. You can easily mold a motherfucker under plastic surgery. That's the reason why they call it plastic. It ain't called plastic because of the material. The material is called polynomer or some shit. Polyfoam is poly some shit. That's the name of the material. It's not called plastic. It's just the way they're able to bend that material. They calling it plastic. But anything you bend is plastic. But a motherfucker will have you thinking outside of something you cannot apply. And right now, I'm going to show you where you can apply this simple technique, which was stolen from Egypt. It was stolen from Egypt, but we're going to call it what it is in terms of how we're going to explain it, because they want you to think it's a pseudoscience, which is not. It's not a pseudoscience. It's a real science. It's just that people who don't have that 8th chakra, people who are soulless, they can't perform this science. I done told you that before. I'm going to tell you again. People who are soulless, people who can't get to their 8th chakra, they cannot perform this. Craniosacral therapy is a form of alternative therapy that is used gentle touch on the palates and the secret thyroid joints. That's right in between your temple, your jawline. That's between your temple and your jawline. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. It's in your temple going down your jawline. But nonetheless, this is where it's low. And they put enough pressure. They only put 5 grams of pressure. That 5 is important. Why do you think a nickel weighs 5 grams on a scale? Universal. So if you try to calibrate your scale, get a nickel, put that motherfucker on there. If it's under 5 grams, if it's like 4 or some shit like that, then that nickel is off or your scale is. It's either one or the two. But 9 times out of 10 is your scale, because every nickel is 5 grams. But you put 5 grams of pressure on a people's temple that can cure shit. Now, check this out. Practitioners of the cranial, we're going to just call it CST. The practitioners of CST claim it is an effective treatment in a wide range of conditions, sometimes claim it is a cure. It is a cancer cure, a cure for all. Practitioners, see, that's the misnomer. That's what the hunkies will go around telling. Or the dumb motherfuckers, like they were saying about Dr. Sebi, talking about he had a cure for all. No, the fuck he didn't. He did not have the cure for all. But considering what CTS is, or CST, considering what CST is, it is a practice in which Taoists, Buddhist monks, Egyptian priests, they use this as a way of connecting you to the stars at the time that it's being perceived. That's why I don't like this picture. But this is the only picture I got of this shit. But this right here is the therapy that takes place. What she's doing, the therapist, she's opening up blood vessels inside of you. Now, this is supposed to be performed on a day where your zodiac is lined up with whatever astronomy that you can figure of, or astronomy that you can think of, right? Your zodiac line up, you're supposed to go through this. You're supposed to have this therapy done to you. But because there's no one here to teach you that, here's Didac. Didac is here to teach you that when you use this form of therapy, you will open up what they would consider portals. Osteopathy is a type of alternative medicine that emphasizes physical manipulation of the body tissues, and bones. Practitioners of osteopathy are referred as osteopaths. This is the technical term for it, but it's really called craniosacral therapy. But in the medical profession, when they doing your chiropractors, right? Your masseuse therapists, they call themselves osteopathists or osteopaths. That's what they call themselves. So when you're talking about osteo, you're talking about the bones. You're talking about the bones. Remember, I told you about the cranial bones, the 5 major cranial bones that have to be massaged in a manner in which this craniosacral therapy is taking place. And remember, it goes all the way to your sacral, which is your who chakra? Root, which is your root chakra. So it goes all the way down and it comes all the way back up, giving you your so-called kundalini, because motherfuckers misappropriate this shit. The only way you can get this, if you got a motherfucking practitioner. You can do it on yourself, but I'm pretty sure most people are not practitioners. They don't know how to do this. They keep following the dumb motherfucker down the wrong road, and they will never learn how to do this. But since you're here with Didac is going to show you how you do this shit. Osteopathic manipulation is the core of set of techniques of osteopathy. Parts of osteopathy, such as craniosacral therapy, has no therapeutic value and have been labeled as pseudoscience and quackery. This is what they said it's been labeled as, because only people who can perform it is people with soul. That's it. Only people that can perform it is those who actually have the connection with the 8th chakra. That's it. If you don't got that, then you can't practice this. Most people don't. That don't stop them from swinging a hammer, right? Because if I go to, check it out, little that they know, they actually sending me down to go ahead and do it. All right, testimony here, right? The doctor said, okay, go to cardiac rehab. What's cardiac rehab? A whole bunch of treadmills, right? Exercise bikes. They got some weights down there. They got a little thing that you can walk and shit, you know, considering that you want to high pace or either jog, right? They got a track for that. So this is cardiac rehab, right? Once you're done with cardiac rehab, they make you go into what they call breathing techniques and relax mode. All the breathing techniques, the stretching and shit. After you done that, little that you know, they doing osteopathy. So they saying that because outside of which they don't know how to apply, they call it pseudo, but still incorporated. Because not only that, they will also recommend you go see a masseuse therapist or a massage therapist. Or they call them physical therapists. That's what they call them, physical therapists. They perform an osteopathy, dog. But they can't perform it on an astro level. They can't give you astro healing off of it because they are not connected with the eighth chakra, and they are not connected because they are soulless. Soulless human beings and those who don't have your eighth chakra activated cannot perform osteopathy in the astral plane in terms of healing you in the astral plane. And I don't went over that. This is the Ogdog way of healing. I don't went over this. And it's almost like I'm sounding redundant. No, I'm sorry, I don't got a lot of flashing clips and all that shit that people are used to when they go into that dumbass channel. But what I am here to explain to you is that this form of therapy can be applied by a person who is disciplined enough to get their, I'm going to call it spirituality up, to get their spirituality up to where they can raise their awareness to the eighth chakra, where they can actually practice that. So when your time is on a, just say if you're on Orion's belt, right, and you in a moment of Cancer, whatever retrograde you under, right, and you are Aries, right, and you get your shit done on a, when is it Aries? Just say if you're a Gemini, because I only know Geminis. I really do. Think Capricorns are January or some shit like that, but nonetheless, the Geminis, right, late May, June babies, right? And if you decided to get your shit done on your astronomical date, if you get this done on your date, you know you will open up a portal. Now you can actually astroplane in front of everybody. Now you can actually go through a portal, but you got to do it on the day of. You can't just do it on any day and expect yourself to go through a portal. No, you got to do it on a day where your day falls on an astronomical time where a portal can be opened up for you. But the way you open it up is you open up the blood flow in your brain, in your spinal cord. And that's what this slight massage along the temple, along the jawline will do. It will open up that whole motherfucking blood vessels. And now you got an overflow of what they call astrocytes coming into the brain, coming into the blood-brain barrier, being filtered from that part. Now it's going into the hypothalamus, the pituitary, and the pineal gland. And now you can actually lucid dream. Now you can actually have outer body experiences or go through portals. Now you can actually do this. But it's going to take, it takes a technique to do it. You just can't fucking sit down and do it. No, it takes practice. And most people, and check this out. By default, dog, y'all, you know y'all do it, right? But has anybody ever rubbed their temples because they felt like they had a headache? Has anybody ever rubbed their temples when they felt like they had a headache? Craniosacral therapy, but you doing it on such a minute, what's root word, not root word, noble new favorite word, mundane. You doing it at a mundane level. Niggas is doing it such at a mundane level that you will never astroplane. But when you rub your temples when you got a headache, guess what happens? Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. I know y'all rubbed y'all temples when y'all head hurt. Nigga, you doing osteopathy. You're doing what they call cranial osteopathy. But these hunkies will have you thinking that it is a pseudoscience and it's crackery because they don't have the eighth chakra, nor do they have the soul to put you in a place of astro healing. Astro healing. Because in those blood cells, in those nerve cells, is what they call astrocytes. We just looked it up. All these things meets in plexuses. Plexus. We look plexus up. Information is being shared back and forth through dendrites called synapses. Dendrites and synapses. Let's look up the word dendrite. Oh shit, I was on the wrong one. Let's look up the word dendrites. What are dendrites? Short branches that extends of a nerve cell along which impulse received from each other as synapses are transmitted to the cell body. A crystal or crystalline mass with a branching tree-like structure. What is a dendrite? A dendrite is a short branch extension of a nerve cell along which impulse receives from other cells at synapses are transmitted to the cell bodies. A crystal or crystalline mass with a branching tree-like structure. You can look under a microscope and see that. If somebody took a sample of your brain tissue, you'll be able to see that dendrite under the cell. In that dendrite, they got what they call a astrocyte, man, where mitochondria is being passed back and forth. They're telling you what this shit does. They're telling you the function of it. So when you're talking about neural networking, and y'all want to talk about Neuralink and CERN and all that other shit that y'all don't understand, I've been told you. It's been in practice. They don't even know what the fuck an MRI is. Michael Barber was the. I keep trying to tell y'all, dude. I'm going to say this one time, and I'm going to leave that shit all absolutely alone from this point forward. Michael Barber was the one behind the MRI. The MRI was the birth child to the dream machine. So when they talking about people getting their dreams read, they are beyond that helmet. Remember, Sanchez would try to show you a helmet, and then he said that's pinhead and all that bullshit. See, unreachable shit. They beyond that. It's just like how you go take an MRI. You lay in a machine. You got to make sure you have no metals and have nothing like no metal inside you because it's going to rip that shit right up out of your body once they turn the machine on. But other than that, it can read your dreams. They got an MRI machine that reads dreams. And thank Michael Barber for that, because he the one that patented the MRI. I don't make this shit up, dude. I don't make this shit up, man. You know what I'm saying? as if though a miracle Japanese scientists, they lying about Japanese scientists, as though a miracle Japanese scientists have discovered that only in Japan where they discovered that a method to record your dreams by means of magnetic resonant imaging scanners. One of the most astonishing examples of technology ever created in Japan, they say in Japan, is using a brain scanner that modifies MRI machines to read dreams. I've been knew about this shit, dog. Been knew about this shit. Because Michael Barber is the one who created the shit, dude. And they just talking about Japanese now, to say the least. I don't know how that algorithm popped up, but considering it, they're going to credit the Japanese with it. So fuck it. I guess they took the technology and ran with it. They did. I tell you what, they must have took the technology and did the best with it because America had it under Michael Barber, under General Electric, dude. Here we go. Here we go. Watch. I want you to follow me now. I want you to follow me. Let me see if I can YouTube it from here. Okay. Am I sharing? I think I'm getting better at it. Yeah, I think I am getting better at it. Okay, I am sharing. Give me 1 second, y'all. Yeah, sorry for that dilemma, y'all, but y'all see him up here. Meet GE's Chief Diversity Officer, Mike Barber. Mike Barber, GE Health Imaginary. This is his he's the CEO of the Health Imagination shit going through GE. Let's watch this one.
And you can see where speculated masses trade-offs. Behind it, they would put a hot light, so they would try to get more dynamic range after they did the image. Now, with the advent of digital, you don't have to make those trade-offs. You can see exactly right out to the skin line. You can see the pectoral muscle and where it's at. You can see those microcalcifications that are being small, and you can see where speculated masses may exist, which is an indication of cancer. So technology has made it so you don't have to make those trade-offs. The last one I'll talk about is ultrasound. Ultrasound was the first unit which is somewhat portable, can be moved to different parts of the hospital, and then you could plug it into the wall and take images. I was an MR at the time. I used to joke with the ultrasound guys, those aren't real images. It's like a snow globe that you used to shake up as a kid and look at it. That's what ultrasound sort of looked like. But now ultrasound is truly portable. You can have a fully functional ultrasound system that can fit in your pocket with a probe.
And I'm privileged to know this nigga. Let's move.
That can be utilized in the emergency room, can be utilized by healthcare professionals, the primary care physician in their office. Oftentimes, a primary care physician is listening to what's going on and feeling around with their hands. When you can give them the ability to see sight, to see what's actually going on inside, they can make better decisions.
And he invented this shit back in the early 2000s. It's just that TED Talk want him to come on stage and talk about some shit that he been invented. He been invented that shit. Let's move forward.
Person be referred on, or can they be sent home? It's phenomenal that we've been able to do this, and this unit can go along and last. No keyboard, no interface.
This is all done through neural networking. Neural networking.
Take it out and go and utilize it. It's something that was being used at the Olympics. This was introduced last year, and when the clinicians at the Olympics saw this, they thought it was great. They took it out to the venues. One of the big deals for them is when an athlete gets hurt, do they need to leave the venue, which means they can't compete anymore, which they didn't want to do, or is it just something that they can continue to practice with? And so they use it for that motion. And then the spectators who were getting injured, they did the same thing. People also didn't want to leave the venues. They didn't want to miss that, even though they might have been falling and doing different things. So portable ultrasound is something that's true and unique and available today. And this is what we call early health. So when you look at it, really being able to detect disease earlier, at the earliest stages, such as.
I don't want to bog y'all down with this. As a matter of fact, I'm just thinking about it. I'm going to do a whole stream just dedicated to this shit. Just dedicated to this. Just to show you is really black folks behind their goddamn scene with all these white coats. He got on a regular suit, but trust me, he wear a white coat all the time, and white long coats, because he's always in the lab. Always in the lab. The nigga is a motherfucking mad genius. All right. I've been going for 2 hours and 45 minutes. No, this is not an open panel, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. I just came up here to show y'all the Modal window, craniosacral therapy, and plasticity, and what it all means in terms of pure application, where you can actually take it outside in the esoteric world and apply it, right? The esoteric world where you can apply it is where the movie Matrix, where it makes the sense, where like when he touched the mirror and all that shit. So if you want to talk about mirror, mirror on the wall and all that good stuff, that is a form of plasticity. If you want to talk about Neo and how he moved, and she was like, I never seen nothing like that. You move like an agent and all that, this and that. That's plasticity. That is the Modal window. That is craniosacral therapy. When they laying down and they jack them up into the matrix, that is what they call craniosacral therapy. Because at that point in time, they are in the essence of tranquility to where they are in the astral world. But of course, we're talking about the application of the matrix. But I'm talking about real application, because when you go get your CST done, look for people who do CST. Ask about it. Straight up. I'm dead serious. Ask people about it. See what you get and see who does it. And tell them that you want to line it up with your birthday or terms of astronomical lining up, and tell them that you want that done on that day. That will open up the portal. That will open up the portal. And with that, that is the true practice of it. But to line it up with some esoteric saying, it's the same thing. Remember when Neo, I think it was in Matrix 2, when Neo and them made it home to Zion. Remember the one dude with the dreadlocks, I guess it was Tank brother or what, Dozer's brother. Remember he said, welcome. The lady said, welcome home. He said, it's good to be home. Remember in that one room where it was like white, remember they were laying down in tranquility? That is CST. That is craniosacral therapy. When they were laying in harmonious peace, where it didn't look like they were jerking or grabbing onto anything tight. It looked like that they was in some pure relaxed motion and mode. That's the moment of CST. That's the moment of CST. So In the movie Matrix, you've seen CST, you've seen plasticity, you've seen it all in the movie Matrix. But I'm just telling you, outside of that, we don't have to talk spooky shit. We're talking about real shit that is being applied in terms of what we can reach our maximum ability in order for us to lucid dream, astral plane, all that good shit, going through portals. These are practices by people who are disciplined and not talking about shit that they can't touch. So to recap what I was talking about astral planing. I was talking about craniosacral therapy, and I was talking about plasticity. And what does it all mean looking through the Modal window? Of course, I got the Ogdog and the Ennead. Got to put that in there. And then I also talked about crystals and osteo and what osteo means, which is bone. And for the fact that dealing with crystals, people who are soulless, the crystals won't even activate. For the people who don't have their eighth chakra, right, the crystals won't activate for you. So you can have all the crystals in the world. If you don't got your eighth chakra, you're not going to activate. You can do all the rubbing and massaging in the world. If you do not have a soul, you will not activate astral planing. Only people that can do that is people with soul and people who got their eighth chakra activated. Now, just imagine if both of them are activated at the same time, because you got people who are soulless, but very highly spiritually developed, who can't operate, who can't open up the eighth chakra if they know better. Other than that, they can reach crown of man. They can reach the crown of man under the guise that they are soulless and just highly spiritual. But just imagine if you got the both. A person who's highly spiritual, mean highly soulful, and possesses the eighth chakra. Only very few, like me, the triple master teacher, only a very few who has this. And with that, I'm tooting my horn on it. And this is what I have, but I don't practice CST. I just practice philosophy. And with that, I'm just giving y'all the information as each one teach one. This is an actual practice. CTS. I keep saying it wrong. CST, craniosacral therapy. This is real. Or they call it cranial osteopathy. This is what they call it in the medical field. But if you go into some shaman or alternative medicine, they call it CST. If you go into the doctor for it, they call it cranial osteopathy. So you can go to a chiropractor or anybody like that and say, hey, do you know anybody who does cranial osteopathy? And he's going to point you to the right direction. Because now a lot of people don't know about this therapy. And when you go get the therapy, you got to make sure the therapy is being done right by the right person. I'm not excluding white people, but I know they are very, very slim. But I'm not excluding white people that they can't do it because, some of y'all love that white man. And y'all loving a white man, y'all think that anything outside of that, it won't work unless he's involved. So with that being said, it's only a very, very few of white people who can perform this shit. It's only because they are very highly developed in their spirituality, where they can reach their God body in terms of the eighth chakra. Outside of that, them motherfuckers are pure sulfur. Pure sulfur. But with that being said, just to recap on that, this is what we talked about today. And I'm so glad that everyone showed up, showed out. And this is one that should not go ignored. This is one that should be watched more than 100 times. But of course, a lot of people are looking for the drama, but I don't mind it. People are looking for the exposure. I really don't mind that because that is one of my other mission statements is that I'm going to expose these fucking charlatans for who they are, starting with Sanchez. Do you remember that part in Beverly Hills Part 2? Was it Part 2? No, Part 1. It was Part 1. Remember he went into the warehouse to go check on Victor Maintenance shit, and it was a crate that didn't pass customs. It was so much shit in that goddamn bonded area that he could have checked any box because he was acting like he was from customs, remember? But he was following Victor Maintenance package. And what I'm saying is going to be fitting. Remember he said, I want to start. He said, we need to check every box up in here, starting with this one. And it was the one that Victor Maintenance guys dropped off, right? Because he was acting like he was the inspector and shit. But in other words, there's so many people to talk about in the conscious community that are charlatans and fucked up. But I'm starting with Sanchez, though. So with that, in that spirit, like how Eddie Murphy said, we starting right here, the crate he was sitting on, nigga. I'm starting with Sanchez. I'm starting with him. So I hope that people watch this one in terms of that. But the recap in the beginning, if y'all get a chance, I said I wasn't going to repeat it, but I am going to repeat it, but I'm not going to show it again. Sanchez said something about pirates and them being the devil, Illuminati, and Lucifer. But the motherfucker was wearing a Las Vegas Raider hat. A Las Vegas Raider. He was talking about CBS being the third eye or the eye that's part of Lucifer or whatever the fuck case may be, but he wearing the Green Bay Packer hat. And also he wears the Seattle Seahawks hat. He wears the Seattle Seahawks. What's up, Lyndon? Peace and love. But he wears the Seattle Seahawks hat. You know that's the Eye of Haru. And plus the hawk, that is a Egyptian falcon. That ain't no fucking hawk, but they gonna call it Seahawks considering they in Seattle. But that's a falcon. Fool ass nigga. And it's the Eye of Osiris. He wears that hat. He had on the fucking Raiders hat on with the Rothschild shield, with the pirate, with the one eye, with the cross in the back with the two swords. All symbology. He wears his Green Bay Packer hat. No, do you know that's the Eye of a fucking Osiris, nigga? Already broke it down. I live in Wisconsin. I know what that Green Bay means. That's an American company that makes everything. Did you know that? It's an American company that makes everything. Look up Acme, nigga. And he wearing all these hats that got deep symbolism in them. But he's telling you, if anybody outside me wear them, they the devil. Anybody outside of me who displays these signs and symbols is the devil. He got a sexually perverted poster in the back with a white woman riding a bomb. Not going up, but coming down. That is symbolic, niggas. All that phallic worship he got going in the background. But yet, he make y'all think that everybody else is the fucking devil. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all very much for showing up, showing out. And I'm glad that y'all can show up. Hit that like button going out. I'm finna start getting real YouTube-ish around here in terms of y'all hitting like buttons and sharing my shit. Because I want people to hear this information. Damn, I'm going on 3 hours? That's crazy. But yeah, I want people to hear this shit because this is important. This is very important. But plasticity, people. Plasticity. So when we are talking about bending, it's plasticity. Welcome to the world of the plastic beach. And as a matter of fact, I'm finna go out with that song. With that being said, yeah, I'm going out with that song. I'm finna go ahead and wrap this up. mute out, play this song, and I'll see y'all next time, man. Or y'all might see me on Sanchez shit checking the fuck out of them. Depends. It depends. So with that being said, do I still want to come off the same album? You know what? Keeping in spirit of this album, I'm going to come off of it, and I'm going to dedicate this song to people out there who feel like that no, you know what? I'm going to play this song. I'm sorry. Still in the theme of plasticity. So I'm going to pause. I'm going to mute up, play it, and then I'm going to end my stream. Thank y'all for showing up.
To the dark, dark sea comes the only well. Watching ships go by is the daily trial. You both know it's a Casio on a plastic beach. It's a Casio on a plastic beach. It's styrofoam. It's in that field. It's styrofoam. It's in that field. It's automated computer speech. It's automated computer speech. It's a Casio on a plastic beach. It's a Casio. Did they hold you well on a really hot day when the cold got away? You had gone away. It's a Casio on a plastic beach. It's a Casio on a plastic beach. It's styrofoam. It's in that field. It's styrofoam. It's in that field. It's automated computer speech. It's automated computer speech. It's a Casio on a plastic beach. It's a Casio. Casio on a plastic beach. It's a Casio on a plastic beach. It's styrofoam. It's in that field. It's styrofoam. It's in that field. It's automated computer speech. It's automated computer speech. It's a Casio on a plastic beach. It's a Casio.
Thank y'all again for showing up, showing out, and I see y'all next time.